Hi there. Welcome to Small Business Coffee Break, the video series where we take a few minutes to work on your business, not just in it. Today we talk with Lillian of Sir & Associates about how important is that corporate black book. Lillian has over 20 years of experience with corporate and real estate law, so grab a cup of coffee and let's get into it. Lily, when you open a corporation, specifically a corporation, they give you this kind of thick black book that looks really important.
Super.
And nobody does anything with it. Is that black book really that important?
That black book is actually quite important. And most of what attorneys do is think about the worst case scenario that's going to happen in every situation. We sort of live in that realm of life. What's the worst case scenario? So what we're protecting the corporation from is future liability and future litigation. And in order to ensure that that corporate entity stays in place, that legal fiction stays in place, a corporation requires certain things in its corporate book. You have to have an annual meeting, you need to record the minutes of that meeting. If you are changing anything in the shareholders agreement, you need an amendment to the shareholders agreement, and all of that information is kept in the corporate book. And if you keep your documents stored correctly and updated as necessary, then you just make that company stronger as far as fighting off any kind of legal action in the future.
Well, that was going to be my follow-up to that. Was just like, well, what happens if you don't? You know, average, say a smaller business, say 30 employees or so. It's very easy for the owner to have to be very involved in the day-to-day operations, and that forte may not be the making sure that the minutes are put in the black book at the end of the year. What is the real what can go wrong if those things aren't there and
it's
in place?
Just a way for the other side to try to break down the strength of that wall. You're building a wall of protection between the individual that owns that or has all of the shares of that corporation, or the individuals if you have more than one. And so it's a protection, it's an asset protection question. And that's just a way for someone that is making a claim and trying to get to the individuals, that's a crack in the wall. And
Okay.
so you have to defend against that.
And having these things put in place are what basically the
strength
spackle or
Yeah, the
cement
spackle, that's
that
good.
keeps things going.
Absolutely.
So that as they're trying to chip away, where you're able to, or your attorney is able to defend you going forward. And it's funny because I use the word liability all day long, and when we use the word liability, I think we're using the definition of the possibility of being held negligent and requiring a financial reimbursement. But from a business perspective, liability should really only mean you're going to have to spend money, either in paying someone because of the situation that occurred, or in paying lawyers to defend you in the situations that occur. And and I like to remind folks that money not spent is money saved. So if you spend a little time doing these things, making sure that these things are in the proper order, it's amazing how much money you can save in even legal fees of a situation that may not have been your fault. It really may have been just some frivolous thing, but having all of these things in place,
Absolutely.
it just saves money at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you have any questions you'd like to ask Lillian, I put her contact information in the description below. If you have any questions you'd like me to ask Lillian or any other professional in their field, my contact information is also in the description. See you next week for another cup of coffee and more questions answered.